Alrighty then. Round three, but this is my second take filming because I started and then got some text messages. There was a lot of noise. I had to deal with it. And I was only a couple minutes in, so I figured, you know what? I'll just redo it right off the beat. So tonight is round three against an first time opponent that actually has fewer games than I have. Wow, that's word salad. His name is Malio, but he told me his name is just Alex Soto. So henceforth, I'm going to just call him Alex. Because of that, there was no information. He has a provisional rating of 1597, I think, something like that, entering tonight. So similar in rating, but because it's provisional, it doesn't really mean much. And the truth is, with unrated players, it's a total crapshoot. There's no games to draw on. There's like nothing about them online. There's no win-loss to even gauge sort of either play style or anything about it. You know nothing. So you pretty much have to go in there, strap yourself in, and just try to do the best you can do, and whatever happens happens. So I knew I was gonna have the white pieces. I didn't want to stray too much. I've been learning some new things. Funny enough, online I'm having more success with my new black openings than my white openings. So maybe I'm trying to force something because I feel like I'm actually. If you look at my stats prior to tonight, not saying I won or lost or whatever. Is that I had been getting really good openings in white, so I don't really need to mix things up actually. So maybe I should just keep on keeping on. I think the main thing is I'm getting like solid positions, and it's hard to ask for more. I shouldn't be looking for like an opening kill. That's only really happened in the on the quad when I blundered when I was exhausted, and then against the very low rated players who just like immediately gave up pawns. Like the truth is, I shouldn't anticipate that happening. So if I can play an opening, again, like Queen's Gambit Declined, where I know it quite well at this point, I know various variations, I know the ideas, that I know I'm not going to get anything special out of it. Like, I'm never going to be, like, +1 in the opening, but I think that that's okay. I think I should just, settle for being able to play on through and arrive at a position where I'm certainly not worse. Maybe it's equal, maybe not, but, and I can just bang on from there. It would be nice though, especially with white, to like really look for some kind of advantage. But all right, I'm going off the deep end. So as far as prep, I did a little bit. Obviously, there's nothing to look up for my opponent, so I did decide that I was going to go into a Catalan pawn structure because I had been again watching a little bit of videos, not really having much success online with it. But I do like the ideas, and I've only played one Catalan so far in the classical career, and that was the game, my second game ever against Jamie Fallon, where I blundered where I had a brilliant, and I actually should have followed up, and then I probably would have won the game off the bat, but I blundered instead. Lost horribly. So basically, call me stubborn. Just because there's something that blows in my face, I'm willing to try things again. That's one thing about me. Try again. So anyway, about my opponent, this is the first opponent that didn't speak that much English, or maybe he was shy. So we did go over the game afterward. Really, really nice fella. But I would say this probably wasn't the most productive use of our analysis. We kind of were just congratulating each other on various moves. Also, my opponent was 15 minutes late. He was very apologetic. To be honest, which is nice. I mean, I got a 15-minute handicap, so I appreciate that. But what's funny is the tournament director, Steven, pulled me aside. 15 minutes had gone by, and he was going to like either pair me with somebody else or do something. But then just at that point is when Alex showed up. So I said, all right, let's get to it. I knew going in that I was going to play d4 and c4 nearly regardless. No one has played the Benoni yet against me. I don't really like tanking. I like pushing. And I'm surprised. I basically just encountered a lot of d4 and knight f6. I play different things. And again, I'm kind of feeling like I like. I've been having more success online with my new black openings, so I'm kind of eager to actually play black. But all right. Anyway, I go d4, he plays d5, and we do, what's funny, mess up the opening a little bit, both of us, but then we get back onto opening theory, and I think after I was up 15 minutes, I was like banging out the opening, and he was blitzing as well. His handwriting was like perfect, by the way, whereas mine, I still sometimes misread what I've written. My handwriting is not like the world's messiest, but it's not good. So anyway, I play c4. He now goes g6, which is definitely not the move. And I knew that this was like wrong. Had I thought about it, to be completely honest, like if I was just playing my normal stuff, I think I would have just taken. But I again was so determined to go into a Catalan that I missed this. And then the reason why, and I know this, is when they don't immediately defend this pawn, when you can take, if they then if they follow it up with the queen, you can just start chasing them around with your pieces, getting free development. Like here they have to move back, and then if I go, most likely knight f3. Do they like it? Yes, they do. Yeah, and then immediately. White's already just like much better, and I actually do know this. I know this from when I'm playing mostly Queen's Gambit Decline, but because I was so insistent on this, Fianchetto, I didn't even think. I just blitzed, and that's good and bad. I harken back to my first few games where I was literally I was making sure I didn't blitz out a single move. Where I told myself that I would spend at least a minute per move, and I did that. I don't know if you guys recall in the different game recaps. But I think I'm going to go back to that. I think that'll serve me well. Because, again, the opening, I know that's a bad move. He made the wrong move order, basically. But I was just blitzed. I just moved too fast. And now he plays e6. And now I know capturing is no longer that good because he can just take and then this doesn't develop with tempo. So there you have it. Anyway, I play knight f3. I feel like, it's the best move. I feel like these are identical. Again, in the Catalan, you're pretty much always doing these things. Almost regardless of what they do. He develops his bishop as well. It's the best move. Now I develop my bishop. Totally solid. And again, like this is just like the white advantage maintained, from the first few moves. Like nothing special. Nothing to see here, folks. I'm kind of just, blitzing on. I'll get to the first point where there's a decision before we talk. All right. Funny enough, is this the first place we got a decision? Yes. So we both played the first 5 moves in like less than a minute each. I'm up to 15 minutes because my opponent gave me that boost because he was late. And here I thought about 3 things. I know the move is to castle. It is, in fact. But I was thinking to myself, am I supposed to get the bishop out? And I said, this is interesting. I'm used to them putting the bishop here, and then the pin is stronger. But now that he puts it here, if I play my bishop here and he can just, play f6 with tempo, I'll just have to move back. Not to this square. I made that mistake a few times to e3 where I thought in some lines it's good, but I probably would move it all the way back to d2, possibly f4. And then I thought, is it good for me if he's pushed this or if it's bad for me? And I thought if he's doing like a King's Indian, then he generally wants to basically attack on the king side, and maybe I'm giving him that move, so maybe that's bad for me. So then I thought, okay, I probably shouldn't move my bishop. And then I thought, all right, I know in the Catalan, because I have my light square bishop over here, if he takes, I know long term it's fine if you give up that pawn. But a lot of times people move the knight here so that if they take, you can then develop the knight and recapture. But then I was thinking, if my knight's here, then I can't move my bishop out, and then it gets stuck. So I did this like mental gymnastics for a few minutes, trying to reason what the best move was, and then I thought to myself, fuck it, I'm just gonna castle. So you know what I mean? I was like, am I complicating this too much? And then I thought, yeah, probably. He immediately castles. I think my opponent had a funny playing style. He didn't think much. And I don't mean that as a criticism. What I mean is, he blitzed a lot of moves. So, like, the game is a 60-move game, for the record. We get a really convoluted endgame. Spoiler. But he, blitzed at least half his moves. And then the other half, he either blitzed... He never did a deep think of, 20 minutes. So he either blitzed, played the move immediately, or he sat for, 5 minutes. So about half his move, so maybe 30, he spent, a couple minutes. Because, he finished with... I was the one under time pressure this game. Anyway, yeah, so that's how I break it down. He either made an immediate move, or he'd spend 2 or 3 minutes thinking about a move. And it was never anything else, for the record. For me, I think my thinks are very random. Some moves I make too quickly, like the opening. Some moves, obviously, are immediate recaptures. And sometimes I just sit back and I just think. And sometimes I'm not even sure what I'm thinking about. Like the opening, I don't know why I wasted so much time. I spent 5 or maybe even 10 minutes on, thinking about which piece, where I wanted my pieces. I swear, I couldn't, I spent 10 minutes thinking, do I want this damn knight on d2 or c3? Do I want this bishop on f4, g5, or d2? I'm not even kidding. That's how long I spent. And I don't think it matters. That's the thing. I feel like none of that stuff really matters. But it is what it is. All right. When we reach this position, I still have that same decision paralysis with these pieces. Is that bad grammar? I don't know. And yeah, see how we're back on to book. So we're back onto the book moves, despite the move order being kind of funky, and I should have capitalized, but I didn't. Anyway, in these systems, I know that you basically want a rook on e1 because you are looking to play e4, just jam it into the center. So I thought if I wasn't sure where I want these pieces, I know taking is bad because then they can lock it up with the pawn, and then my fantastic Catalan bishop is not so fantastic. So I thought, all right, let's just make the move I know is right. Sometimes you want your queen on c2, sometimes d2, sometimes even b3. So again, I just didn't know. So I said, all right, I'm going to go with the move that I know I want my rook here. So I played rook e1. It seems like it's a fine move. Maybe not the best move, but whatever. I'm not gonna hurt myself too much on that one. He plays c6, which I was really happy to see because I thought this was a bad move. Computer still gives it a good because I thought he wants his knight here to like apply pressure here, which makes my knight here no longer good because I'm not defending this pawn. So I thought once he plays the c6 here, then I'm thinking that actually maybe I do want my bishop on d2. And then I was thinking, because I knew it was time to move one of these two pieces. I figured it was time. I move either my knight or my bishop. And then I thought, all right, if he can't move his knight here, I said, do I want this? Well, I still want to play e4, so maybe I should keep playing for e4, and I just didn't know, and then I just played knight c3. So, it is what it is. When that occurs, he now takes, and this is where I surprise him. So again, he's blitzed his first 8 moves, less than a minute for sure, maybe 2 minutes total. So he used 15 minutes where he gave me it for free. I used a minute on my first 5, and then I did that deep thing for 10. We're already basically at this point even on time, for the record. And here I blitz this. I play e4 because I know this is the idea of the Catalan. I know this is the best move. It is the best move. When we did the analysis afterward, he's like, "Oh, that was a good move." And I said, "Alex, I can't take credit for it. This is the theory. This is not I can play e4 with this. Temporarily giving up the pawn." But so he kind of laughed at that. But yeah, and that's the idea. And I thought once this position was reached, 9 moves in, I thought that computer says I have a slight comfortable position, which is exactly what I anticipated, and I felt good. I thought that I was going to figure out where to put my bishop. I will round down this pawn, and long term he's got the development issues, and I still have this great bishop, whereas his bishop is still good, but it's not as good basically because my pieces are not as trapped. I knew that my plan, I wanted to get a rook off of this diagonal. Oftentimes you can attack on the queen side, and I know that I can lock up the center. So that's kind of my plans. That's what I'm going through in my mind. So yeah. And he plays b5. In the recap, and he seems he's clearly a talented player, by the way. But it seems though he hasn't ingested that much chess, either videos or anything like that, because he wasn't familiar with a lot of the terms and stuff, which is fine. I mean, this is more observation. So he was yeah, I was just gonna grip this pawn as best I could. He's I thought that if I hold on to this pawn, then I'll be better. And I said, yeah, that's definitely an idea in this system. I said you shouldn't be able to. This is such a weakness, the c6. When I can clear away. Right now he's got defenders, but if he keeps them here, he's just totally backed up, and I'm actually better despite being down a pawn. But that's what he was going to do. And I thought that made sense. And this is where, though, I make a misplay. He plays b5, and again, I know that one idea is to attack on the queen side, and I also know that if you can ever get, the box, double pawns, even if he's up 2 pawns, it really doesn't matter. White is just better, because there's no way to defend them. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, probably. And so I was thinking, I was not, unfortunately, looking at the best moves, like h4, of attack on the king or expanding on the king. I wasn't considering that as a candidate move. I did a whole think about whether I should push e5 to open this up, and I wasn't sure if the d4 pawn would be a weakness with his queen there if I locked in his bishop, which I did want to lock in his bishop and open mine. It is one of the best moves, so I should have played it. I wasn't sure. Or am I supposed to play b3? I looked at the b3 break, and I said, well, that's undoubling his pawns, and then I said, well, it's undoubling his pawns, but that's not necessarily a problem, because then I can actually develop my queen, for example, or open up the file for the rook, and then I really have, again, this triangle. So I was thinking about all those moves, and I, unfortunately, when I narrowed it down, I ended up picking the worst one, and I play a4. And the reason I play a4, and this is a blunder, or I guess the computer just gives it a mistake, which is nice of them, is that what I saw if I played b3, I thought if he plays, I mean, it looks like he doesn't even have to. He can just play b4. But I guess this isn't so bad. I didn't think this was so bad because I thought that if I played out to the island here and then he pushes here, what do they want? And now they want. Oh, that's interesting. Now they want a3, so then you're breaking this, so then you can win this pawn as well. Okay, that's interesting. I wasn't considering that, unfortunately. I thought even if he takes here, yeah, I would. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to take with the queen or the pawn. I looked at this, and yeah, I guess I should like this. I just didn't. I think what I was thinking is, I kind of have a success with his double pawns. I shouldn't give him the option of freeing himself out, even though it is good. Anyway, I know a4 is an idea, but not when the pawn is already on b5. If I'm going to play a4, it should be in this position, which it's not the best move here, but a4 is reasonable enough here. I'm just kind of curious if we did the move order here and then I play e4 here. Yeah, this would have been like interesting, right? Like this is the other way of doing it, because then I'm taking away the b5 now. Arrows are hard. All right, well, nonetheless, none of that happened. I play a4, and I went from, 10 moves in, he's blitzing everything, to now I'm actually worse. Because what I calculated is I figured he'd push, and then so anyway, he pushes immediately. He blitzes. He really blitzed a lot. I play my knight to e2. It seemed like the only move. And then immediately, when I play knight e2, he plays a5, and he locks it up. And I no longer have a good position. It's not like it's terrible, but like I'm no longer better. He is up a pawn, and it's not like a full pawn, but it's not as easy for me to win it. Yeah. So I realized I made a mistake, and it's just such a bad feeling at the board when like I play and I get this position where I know this is going to happen, and I kind of go into it anyway. And I think to myself, I'm like, man, I'm not sharp today. So I don't think I was on my A game, for the record. So in any event, I play knight e2, he plays a5, and I decide, all right, well, it's time for me to get my bishop in this game somewhere. And I went back to the same old age-old question. I said, fuck, if I play bishop g5, again, pinning the knight, when he pushes and I move back, is that good for me? And I said, I don't know. And now I said before, when e3, when the pawn was on e2, it's no good. But now I'm thinking, oh, actually, it is a good square. And the computer also likes h4 with the idea, I'm assuming, just a little bit of breathing room for the king. So, all right, I get my last piece into the game, my bishop. I play bishop e3. It is a good move. Looks like it would have been more accurate to play to g5 first. I don't fully understand it. Again, I thought that was kind of doing him a favor. Just for the record, just so you guys can see, like, I'm constantly calculating this. And I thought if I play my bishop to g5, I thought he just plays f6 and just bounces it back. Why is this better for me? Because now I go, like, 'cause I didn't know if this was a weakness for him or not. You know what I mean? I thought that, like, he kind of wants to attack on the king side. And I'm kind of helping him do that, Yeah. I still don't get it. You know what I mean? Why is it better in my position that his pawn's here rather than here? Because I knew that I could have done it, and I thought that it's better for him if he has the ability to push the pawn. I don't know, but maybe not, because he can always push it to that square. So the fact that he has like one fewer option is better for me. I don't know. All right, well, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. That's probably not where, maybe that's a leak, but that's a small thing to fix. Anyway, I play bishop e3. Still doing the thing where I mispronounce the piece names. And he plays knight to d2, d7. Okay, seventh and second I do get wrong, and I feel like that one's a very understandable mistake. It's the best move. My opponent's playing a pretty good game so far, yeah, he's kind of like, I feel like I'm taking away all the jumps because I control the center. That is nice. I do want to round up this pawn sooner rather than later, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And then I thought to myself, all right, maybe I can't win this immediately. I was thinking, again about, corralling it. But I figured he's probably going to be playing the knight to b6, because then he's defending and attacking. So I thought, all right, Babo, what if I take away his best piece, and I play queen d2 with the idea of launching my bishop here, It's not even that great of a plan. I don't know why I'm in love with this plan. I feel like I've done this plan in several games, and none of the games is it great. Like it's a fine idea, but for some reason I think it's much better than it is. Basically, my thinking is if I can just trade this piece for this piece, like if you poof them, snap your fingers and poof them off the board, I'm better. But I'm not even sure that's really the case. So because this, I don't know, it's preventing me from pushing like a d5. Because of this, bishop. I don't know. Like, these are just... I just don't know. I don't know. I also didn't eat much today, so maybe that kind of factored into my brain power. Anyway, again, he blitzes without thinking, knight f6. And at this point, my opponent has not used much time. Again, I've already used more time than him, despite having the free 15 minutes. And now I do a deep think, because obviously he wants to jump into e4 and attack it. I was thinking, and I'm actually surprised I'm worse here, because at this point when he played this move, I was thinking to myself that I've got a lot of good moves, and I mean, as it turns out, I don't have any good moves, but I couldn't quite figure out the best plan. I thought, do I pin and give up the pawn? No, probably not. I can't play here, because then I give it back. That's not so good. Do I push the pawn? He moves there, and I just, move back. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. That might not be bad, because then in some lines I can have a discovery, a fossil, on the knight. And then I think, and I use my time. I spend 10 minutes on this move, and hey, guys, I find the best move, and I'm proud of myself. And I think, no. I said, all right, this is a weakness. We want to clear the spot, so I probably want to move the knight. And I thought, it doesn't really do much here, because he can just, force it back, and then I have to make, a goofy move. So I find knight e5. And again, the idea here is twofold. One, I'm going to attack this pawn, so I might just win it back. And two, I'm attacking this pawn in some lines. And three, I've opened up my bishop, so it's defending against the knight. So it's a multi-purpose move, and it's the best move according to the computer. So, I would say even if I'm not playing great, sometimes I do find the best move. So I am happy about that. It's just nicer if I find the best move all the time, but then I'd be a computer. All right, I play knight e5, and I think this is finally, I think in this position is when he finally did a 3-minute think. You know what I mean? He did one when I played e4 actually, and when I played knight e5. After the game again, there wasn't much analysis. We were just complimenting each other on different moves, and he was very impressed with this move. He liked it, so I'm thankful about that. In any event, he played bishop to... Did he play bishop? a6. Yes, oh yeah, he played here, and this move makes a lot of sense. I can't win the pawn back immediately. Technically, there's some discoveries, like if he pushes and stuff, and it's developing a piece that wasn't doing anything. So I think it's a good move. It's what I thought he was going to play. When I think about what they're going to do, that's the move I thought he was going to play. Because you try to get some sense. Anyway, I stick to the plan. I figure it's very hard for him to attack this pawn. He can't move the bishop here, and to reroute he'd have to move the queen here and then push the pawn so that he can open up on it. So I don't think I needed my rook here. And I thought that maybe there are some lines where I wanted my rook on the e-file. So I moved rook a to c1, and hey, look at that. A lot of games I've been moving the wrong rook just because I don't know. But by happenstance, thankfully logic, I moved the right rook. And the idea is very simple. I can now take, he can take, I can take, and look at that, I'm winning back the pawn. Sort of. Let's put an asterisk in that. Some of you better players can see that's not fully the case. But anyway, once I play this, he goes to knight d7, which makes some sense. And he was telling me after the game he was hoping that I would just trade. I would never do that, of course. But he was basically opening up his bishop. But because he's not defending this pawn anymore, I thought it was pretty obvious. I stuck to my plan. It is the best move, I'm glad. And I go knight takes on c4. He plays... Well, the computer gives me a great move. Thank you, computer. He goes bishop takes, which is pretty clear-cut. And again, when it's recaptures like this, we're just blitzing. I take, and what I didn't see at the start of the sequence, that I'm not actually fully winning a pawn, is he then immediately plays knight to b6. And the truth is, what's funny is I'm going to be down a pawn, but the computer is going to say that I have a better position. So it's just one of these Catalan things. We're clearing space so that I can zero down on that rook. So he plays this. Looks like rook c2 is slightly better. Interesting. Yeah, maybe I should have found... I didn't want to play knight... Really, why do I keep mispronouncing pieces? Oh, probably because the knight is attacking the rook. I didn't want to play rook to c2 because I thought there were some lines where he'd be able to play b3 with tempo, but maybe that's just not scary. But I did think that it would make sense if I double up on this file, but I didn't see it. That would be the best move, but wow. It's crazy. You can give up the exchange here, and basically it's even still, which I would never do that. But, yeah. So I drop back. I play rook cc1. In my notes, I did rook c4 to 1. Again, I don't really know. And okay, the computer still gives me a best. Like, thank you. But I'm looking at this on this side, worried that I made, like, the wrong move. Oh, because they call it cc1. Oh, okay. So cc1 and c2 are basically identical. Okay, cool. 0.02. All right, so I was looking at that thinking I made, like, by far the worst choice. But it looks like this is fine. So, all right, I'm not going to beat myself up on that either. He then takes with his knight immediately. And it makes sense. Any other move, and he's just worse. So, again, I'm down a pawn, but my position's better. And this is like the Catalan in a nutshell. And I don't think I love positions like this, actually. Like, I don't think I do, to be honest. And, like, I get it conceptually why I'm better here. I have the double bishop, which are very strong in this position. His knight is totally out of play, and I own the center. My king is pretty safe, and his rook is not developed to a healthy file, whereas I have the half file on the c file. So, like, I get it why all this is definitely worth a pawn for me. Like, and again, in the game, like, I arrived at this position. I thought it was fine. I just was bummed that I was down a pawn. You know what I mean? I was like, nuts. I said something like that. Anyway, I thought for a while, again, and I thought that it would be annoying to try to watchdog this pawn against this laser and against this. So I said, all right, Rob, why not just remedy my situation? I can lock down his pawns, and I can just play b3 right away. It is the best move. I feel pretty happy. I'm freeing up my queen, and I was thinking I'm going to win back the pawn sooner rather than later. Like, you know, whatever. Let's keep going. So I play b3. It is the best move. Nice, nice, nice. And he plays knight to b6, which is fine. It is, of course, the best move. He has to just retreat. Maybe I'm making my opponent moves too easy. Like, it seems like they constantly have, like, one move that they can do. Anyway. And then from here is where, you know, another think was required. And now in this position, I think to myself, I said, damn, I'm down a pawn. I said, all right, what do I have here? I said, I could lock down the center with e5, which I considered. It's not even on the move, so I guess I'm glad I didn't play it. And I thought it made his bishop bad, and it opens up my bishop. So I was like, I think that move does a lot. But then I was worried. I said, well, my queen in some lines is hanging, like the sacrifices I take, if I somehow, like, move the bishop away or something. I said, do I want to play f4 and just, like, launch a pawn store? I said, maybe. Do I want to gang up on this pawn? That would be pushing the pawn. I said, maybe. And then I said, can I move this knight? I don't think so. I said, because I thought to myself I needed the defense, because, you know, otherwise I'm kind of glued down with these pieces. I said, do I want to, like, lock up, you know, and double? And I said, nah, because he's defending with his knight. I'm not really threatening the c-pawn until I open up my bish on it. So I went through all these options about, like, what the best line would be, or, like, what the best piece, and I wasn't really thrilled with any of them. So I then said, what piece of mine is, like, the worst? And I said, well, this rook seems pretty good. It's on a half-open file. This rook potentially is good, because, again, it's kind of pushing a center pawn. My queen is a little bit misplaced, but I didn't mind it. It no longer has this target, but I was considering moving my queen. So I was considering queen c2, actually. That was one of my candidate moves. And I thought, you know what? My bishop's my worst piece. And I thought to myself, what a wonderful world. No, I didn't think to myself, what a wonderful world. I thought, well, if I play to g5, I've been the age-old question, is it good to induce this or not? And I honestly, for the life of me, have no fucking clue. But then I said, no, his bishop is strong. It's controlling this square where he's pushing this pawn. I can't move my rook there yet. So if I can take out his bishop, I can always stop that, and then I'm never worse. And I thought to myself, I said, all right, this is probably his best minor piece. Like, his knights are restricted. Like, this is a great pawn for that. This knight is restricted. This is a great pawn for that. Oh, that's the other reason, by the way, I didn't want to move e5. I thought positionally it would be really bad for me, because even though I'd be blocking in his bishop and opening up mine, I would be giving him a million jumps, and I actually would be very afraid. Like, I thought that would be weakening, because I'm not really, and I would no longer be able to push d5, because he'd have these two pawns. So that's actually why I didn't play e5, for the record, and I'm glad that's why the computer agrees. So anyway, I played bishop h6, and the computer, like, looks at me and is like, bro, you fucking suck. And the reason why is he's supposed to take, and then what? And then just push the pawn? Okay, interesting. But he doesn't do that. Excuse me, I burped. Instead, he plays e5 here. And I asked him after the game, again, our analysis, it wasn't good. I said, hey, why did you feel the need to play e5? And he said, well, I didn't want you to play e5. And what's funny is what I just told you guys, I didn't think e5 would be good for me, because I'd be giving him these squares, you know, for his knight. So he, like, stopped a move that I thought was a bad move. You know, it is what it is. And I said, oh, okay. But because I didn't think this was a great move. And the reason why is, number one, it lets me trade. But number two is when he moves his king here, I'm going to have this pin potentially with, like, a queen, or if I take. So suddenly I thought to myself, all right, I must be better. You know, great. Computer agrees. I am better. I immediately trade. I got the dream situation in the sense where I traded the dark square bishops, and I thought, okay, you know, he has no bishops, so, like, I'm not worried about my my squares here. His king is in an awkward place. I said the only issue with my position now is the fact that my queen is pinned. I obviously can't take, because then, I lose the game. So I said, all right, well, let's remedy that. Let's play rook e to d1. I thought it wasn't doing much now, because this pawn is currently stuck by the e5, so I wanted to move it to a more active square. It's the second best move. That's great. The computer still likes h4 first. I'm not sure why. Maybe just a little bit more breathing room for the king. But I basically make what I think is the best move, which is rook e1. And now I am threatening, by the way, both of these moves, both takes and d5. So I went again to, like, I like my position. My opponent blitzes, and I'm not kidding. Within 2 seconds, he plays f6. And as soon as he played this, I was like, fuck yeah, that's a blunder. And the reason why it's a blunder, now for the record, I don't play the best move in response. I'm always thinking about queen b2, so I was considering that. Looks like queen c2 is an idea as well. And apparently even queen e3. And the idea, of course, is he is the one that is pinned. He, not we. He, not me. But I also then saw, and maybe this is because I didn't have the killer instinct today. Maybe I was underconfident, which is, I've been overconfident every other game. So, you know, who knows, you know, the adjustment process. I see that if I take, obviously I'm opening up on his queen. And I thought that if he takes, I have the in-between move, the Intermitsu takes, and then takes. And I thought, all right, I will no longer be down a pawn, and I'll still have the same advantages in the position. We'll take queens off the board, and I'll own the open file. He's got these weak pawns. I should be better. So I simplified, and the computer doesn't like this plan, for the record. They like me maintaining the tension and really utilizing the pin of my rook on his queen. And in retrospect, I wish I had done that, because I was considering that. Instead, I took. And he, again, blitzed out. Also, real quick. Yeah, and I saw that if he took, like, if he made a mistake, I saw the follow-up, which, again, is then sliding it over here, where you open up, and then, boom, shaka-laka-laka-laka, you're in business. However, he immediately goes queen takes, and then, again, I saw the e takes f6, which I'll get to in a moment. But just so you guys can see here, because I did see this in the game. Not that it's, like, hard to see, I guess, but I did see this. And now, like, if you look at the position, I'm attacking his queen. He is pinned. Best move, of course, is queen c7. And then, yeah, can you guys see the follow-up? Waiting. Anyway, he didn't do this anyway, but I did see this, which is nice. And the reason why is, this is pinned. You're threatening this fork. And, so I did actually see this, which I feel good about. So what does the computer recommend? Oh, this is nasty for the computer. They recommend, like, breaking the pin with the rook, and then what? And then just simply going d3 to just gang up on it. Okay, I didn't see that far. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see quite that far, but I did see this pin. Excuse me, this fork, with this with the threat. If he made the best move, and everything else I'm winning upon. So I did see that actually. And that's if he took back. He didn't. He takes here, and then I did see the next follow-up, which is then to take first with check. And by the way, when we went in the analysis, it was kind of funny. He told me, and again, he's like, at this point, 24 moves have taken me 35 minutes. I probably have maybe 50 minutes left-ish. And he had given me the 15 minutes, and he has spent a couple minutes on a couple moves, but maybe 15 minutes total. I think he's still over an hour at this point. So I have like 45, 50 minutes. He's got like an hour. So he's up 10, maybe 15 minutes after giving me the free 15 at the start. And what's funny is in the analysis afterward, he said, when I played this move, he said he thought to himself that he just lost the game. He's like, you move so fast. I didn't see this at all. He's like, I thought that I just had to resign. Not that he has to resign. Like, the position's like very even. But yeah. And what's interesting is I assumed he would take with the king. He doesn't. He takes with a rook, which is not as good. I didn't know. I knew that was wrong. By the way, I knew it was wrong. In fact, when I plugged this in on the tee, because I was just very quickly, I wanted to look at like how I did because this was kind of a wild game. I like immediately put in the fact that he took with the king, and then I had to recorrect it to take with a rook because if I was playing, I would never take with a rook there. But well, maybe not never. I'm sure I would in some cases, but like I do know that's not correct. Anyway, now I take his queen, and the truth is, if you look at the stock in this position, I'm glad they give me a great move. That's rather kind of them. Yeah, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have the more active bishop on the light squares, with the potential, obviously if I push here, it's stuck. I potentially can double. These are kind of stuck. He can't quite push, etc., etc. So I thought that although the material is even here, it's the kind of thing I thought positionally I thought I was better. You know what I mean? Like I knew that this was good for me, and the computer does say it's almost +1. So I feel good about my instincts here. Like, and I know that I made the inferior move here. Like what I'm supposed to do, again, is I should have, and I did consider this. I should have played Queen B2, and this is just better. This is just simply better. But the line I chose to go into is more forcing and still good for me, so I don't feel too bad about this. All right, move 25. I play rook takes on D2, and now he moves rook A to F8, which makes sense. And when he plays this, and again, he blitzes this, his idea is pretty clear. He's going to just steamroll here. My first reaction is to play F4, and then I think for a while. Oh, man. Oh, I feel bad about this. So I was torn between F4 or knight F4, and the best move is knight D4. Interesting. So I talked myself out a better move. If I was playing Blitz, I would have played F4 in 1 second. The idea there is you build a strong pawn chain, and you still have the very active bishop, and you can control, potentially, you can control the file. If I was playing Blitz, that's what I would do. But then I thought I got too creative, and I spent another 10 minutes, so I'm down to 40 minutes. And I thought if I play my knight here, he doesn't have this move because I have this fork. I'm threatening if I play here, he has to move back this fork, so then I'm winning a rook. So I thought I was winning an exchange with knight F4. Like I thought I was patting myself on the back. I thought this was a great move. I knew I needed to open up the rook on my F2 square so that this doubling doesn't do anything. And I thought that this had a lot of tricks in the position. That was just like really good, and I can play that with playing an E5 idea. So yeah, so I was proud of myself. But actually, what's funny is this move would have been stronger. It was just what my instinct wanted me to play. And again, what's funny is the best move is something I didn't really consider, which is knight d4. I thought this would be awkward because he could maybe pin it, but I should have thought that he doesn't really have the pin because I always have this e5 idea. Taking it away, and then if he moves away, then I have that same fork. So yeah, this is just a case I didn't. I guess I didn't think long enough, and now I'm still attacking the pawn. By the way, if he like moves back or something. So yeah, I feel. How do I put this? I should have found this move actually. Yeah, I don't think this was my best game today at all. I think I should have found knight d4. It's clearly better. I thought like I don't really need to worry about stopping the doubling here because I have the rook here. If the rook is not here, then that's a whole nother story. But yeah, and even just playing f4, this move makes sense because what do they think is the best move? Like b8. It's such a passive move. Yeah, e5 is crying to be played. I would play it, and then f8. Like look at this. I have such a space advantage. I have an open bishop. In fact, they don't even want me to take. No, taking is fine. I don't know if I'd cash in the bishop for the pawn and the knight at this point. Play up a pawn. I mean, I feel like that's good. But they want me to just continue massaging the position with knight d4. I wouldn't have done that because I would have been worried immediately about getting pinned. But it's not a pin because I have that check, of course. Duh. Doi. Doi. All right, well, I didn't think enough about that position. But that is what I was thinking conceptually is I didn't want the pin. But there is no pin here. He can't do that. Same with this. Boom. Boom. Actually, I would take over there. Boom. All right, well, so I had a lot of opportunities in this one, and I still have a good position. I still think this move is fine, by the way. It's just not the best move. I was proud of this move at the time, but, you know, at the time, it still wasn't the best move. My opponent, to his credit, thinks not that long and plays kind of the best move. These two moves are equal. He just gets out of the nonsense. He moves king g8. And when he played it there, I thought that was pretty good for him. I still thought I had moves of like e5 at the right moment, to kind of take him off this line, and then it opens up my bishop. So I was always thinking about e5. And it looks like in this position, move 26, that is what I should have played. However, what's funny is the computer for like 10 moves has wanted me to play h4. Oh, God. I was considering e5, for the record, because obviously he can't move here, I take. He can't move there, because then I take, so he has to move away. And then in those lines, I was thinking I would just win the pawn. I was a little bit worried, for the record. Here, I'll show you the moves I was thinking. I was thinking h4, which the computer likes. The reason why is I didn't want him to be able to move h5 now, because before I had, this check to win the exchange. But if I play h4, he can't play g5, because then I could just take it. Plus, I have space for the king in the lines where he like crashes down. Or I was considering rook c5, and the idea was just monkey style trying to attack a5, because I didn't see a way to defend it. I didn't like, if I play c5, I thought he would then play a4, and then I take, and he takes, and his knight is now attacking my rook, so I just have to move it again. I don't know if I'd move it to the outside or what. But because I kind of went through all the math there, I went through all the permutations, I decided to play what is kind of a waiting move, h4, which I thought improved the position. It prevented him from doing this. It wasn't committal with me putting the rook up. And again, it's funny, because we saw h4 recommended like 10 moves in a row, and when I finally play it, it's no longer the best move. And to my surprise, I thought I only would force a4 if I move my rook here. He now slams the best move again. 2 seconds taken, and he plays a4. And I thought to myself, shit, did I miss the opportunity to squeeze him down in the position? Is he crashing through? And I thought, all right, well, I have to probably take, and then he takes. And I was a little bit worried about how fast this pawn is, and these are potentially protected pass pawns. So now I'm seeing nightmares where I thought that I have him positionally locked down. I'm like, okay, I'm taking away all his jumps with my pawns. Like, that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to limit his minor pieces. I have the open line. If I can ever dislodge this knight, I can take the 7th. All that's going through my mind. And then when he plays this, I think, oh shit, am I just giving him the win by him just brute forcing, a B pawn, and suddenly I'm worse. And it went from for about 10 moves, like 17. Once I battled back, after the a4, and I kind of made the repositioning moves. For about 10 moves, I thought I just had, I was just enjoying a better position. And then when he plays this, I am better, but I really was seeing monsters. I thought, oh, maybe I'm worse now. And I thought that these pawns are just really fast. The computer wants me to play d4, which is pretty cold-blooded. It makes sense. You basically can let him take, because then you're going to win this pawn. If he ever pushes, you then just take with the rook. And I can see why that's the best move in the position. He doesn't have a way of stopping it either, so I should have done that. Instead, I take, which I think is fine. I mean, it's the third best move here. Yeah, it's excellent still. He takes, of course, yeah, immediately. And now I have to think for a while. And I played this to stop this. I'm a little bit worried about how fast these pawns are. I really want to play e5 so I can just, gobble up the pawn and play up a pawn, with an endgame. Because at this point, I'm a little bit nervous, by the way. And I think to myself, all right, if I can, what's it called? When you liquefy, simplify. I said if I can simplify, these rooks are probably not in time to get over to protect. That I could probably round it up. Maybe not there, because then he wins it like that. I probably would go there first, bounce it back, and then play there, just to be more accurate. Yeah, so in this position, the computer wants me to play. Makes so much sense. It's so easy when you see the best moves on the computer. They want to go bishop f1 because this pawn is not under attack. It's not afraid, and you have this potential check looming. Which I think is very, very important. Plus, basically, you just have a lot more scope. Whereas right now, I'm just totally, boxed in. They also like h3 for the same idea, which that was a move I was considering here. I wasn't considering bishop f1, I don't know why, but I was considering bishop h3. And my thinking was, I wondered if I had anything here on that square. And I didn't see anything directly, so I wasn't sure I wanted to spend a move doing it. So I didn't opt for h3. Instead, I do play e5 here, which is a good move. I mean, it's still a good move. And the thinking here, I thought I was going to just grind him down. I thought basically he can't move here, I take. He can't move here, I take. He has to move it, or I take. I thought if he played here, I'd have some funny knight moves if he goes to f5. It is his best move. Then the computer just wants me to play e1 to kind of protect everything. And then win the pawn, I guess. I don't know. That's where I thought he would go. Honestly, I don't want to show you what he did yet because it took me wildly by surprise. Yeah, and I thought the other move that I saw, if he played here, I thought that I was just basically totally strangling him. Yeah, I didn't quite see the c4 idea. I was thinking always like a c5, but nonetheless, yeah, basically just getting him on lockdown. And I thought I had him totally strangled. And I swear within 3 seconds, he just immediately sacks. And I'm going to be honest. I think this is a good move because I clearly have a better position. I'm squeezing him positionally, and he's got to make something happen. He's giving up the exchange for a piece and a pawn, maybe 2 pawns if I don't defend this one. And his pawns are fast. And I wasn't even expecting this. I don't know why I was expecting this. I should have expected that there's a chance that he could sack. But he took me by surprise here. And I will say, in chess, it's funny. You have a lot of time, classical. I still had 40 minutes at this point. But there is a small element of, wow factor. He sacks him. Obviously, I have to take. There's, of course, I'm not going to do anything but take here. But there's, a small element of me being holy shit, I completely missed this idea. Is this good for him? Now, as it turns out, according to the computer, it's not that good for him. It's an interesting move, and according to the computer, it is his 3rd best move. Again, I thought he was going to play here, but it took me by surprise. I did of course I took the rook, but I was like, holy shit, what is this guy cooking? And good for props for him for basically going into it because he was clearly worse. I was smothering him here. I'm not sure what I would have played. I think I would have taken the 7th. To be completely honest, I am just curious how bad trading is. Oh, it's not good for me. If I trade and he trades, and I trade, then he wins the pawn. Yeah, I did see this. I did think that this would be decent for him. And then I play c7. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then this is just nothing here. If that was what was played. Of course, if I, from this position, didn't take, what would I have to find? d7. I definitely would have been able to find that move first, by the way. I'm actually just curious, because I was considering this in a lot of lines. And then he takes, and then they want d3. Ooh, yeah. So what does he even do here? Like this. And then I win the b4 pawn. You know, I actually feel like I should have gone into this. Well, I mean, he didn't give me the option because he sacrificed. But yeah, I feel like hopefully I would have gone into something like this. Because to me, remember how like a few games ago, like last month against Yuran Shea, there was like a very simple, it didn't say I had a huge advantage, but it was a very simple game. This is a similar situation where I am going to win this pawn. And basically, yeah, there's like not much my opponent can do about it. And it's just a very simple game to play. Now, it doesn't mean I'm like going to win the game, but I know how to play it, and it's just very easy. So I would have liked this. Anyway, again, we played a lot of moves, so well, a lot of my recaps have been over an hour, so it is what it is. All right, so I play. He plays rook takes, and of course I take back, like obviously. It's funny. The best move for the computer is to go c3 now, knight c3 that is, to stop me from winning this pawn. Which, by the way, he ends up doing and stops me from winning the pawn. I kind of kick myself because that ends up being a major nuisance. But, however, he crashes through. So, yeah, so the situation here is wild. He's way up on time. I have the exchange for a pawn. You know, I know my position is better. Like, when we reach this position, I mean, according to the computer, I'm plus 2.4, which is a very substantial edge. I can tell you this, at the board, it certainly didn't feel like that. The computer has a very easy line of checks, and you can't go here. And this is not what I saw because you have a funny, you have a funny line here. I'll just go into what I did first. Now I played h5, and I had a good reason for it. It's a bad move according to the computer. This got funny in the aftermath. He complimented this move. He thought this was a really good move. I thought it was a really good move, but the computer wants you to go. And like I didn't see this, otherwise I would have played it because I thought the computer says he has to go to g7. I wanted him to block. I mean, that would be very, very easy for me. But, yeah, I thought if he blocked, that would be very easy for me. Just so you guys can see, this is like what I wanted to have happen. Okay, I mean, taking is the second best. But I thought in this line, like here, yeah, I mean, he's down the exchange and this pawn's falling. Yeah, I would have been able to find this one. Don't I have... Actually, what would I have done here? They say e4. Actually, this is not so easy for me. I'm not sure I would have won this one. It says plus 1.6, but actually this is... I guess you're going to reroute like that. That's an interesting idea. Hold on. Yeah, once he takes... Oh, right. The reason why you can play d8 and you can't play... King f7 is because now you have this e6. And I did not see this, obviously. If I saw this, I would have gone into it. And I thought that, you know, with this takes, but it's not good because now you can go here, and then you have to play back, and then you just have the very simple rook d7. And to be honest, tactics-wise, I should have seen this because I do think if this was played out, I would have won very easily. There's no way to defend this. The pawn's simply not fast enough. Like, let's say he pushes. I just take... This is very easy. You can go here. They wanted me to go like that. I go here. I mean, obviously you can win the rook, but let's just say I go here. He plays d6. I go here, and the reason why is e7. Boom, 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 boom. Game over. Yeah. So I didn't quite see the variation out to that far, of course. I thought in this line, if I can play the h5 first, he can't simply gobble the pawn. That I thought he had to take, and then I'm never concerned about these, and then I can go into this. And I assumed he was going to take, unfortunately. So I thought this was a good idea, because it denies him the extra pawn, and if he gets the doubled, it's easy for me to basically blockade them. Unfortunately, this is a big mistake, and I've thrown away the advantage. And I just assumed... He had to play E take. I don't know why. I mean, G takes. I saw it was clearly winning for me, but he doesn't do that. And yeah, and I basically had to win, and then I didn't. Now he plays knight c3, and when I played this, I thought that he was going to take, and then I'd be able to like trade down for the pawn. or check him and run behind the other pawn. But I didn't do that, and I gave him this move. So I was shocked he didn't take it, and then I thought, fuck, now I don't have an easy way of stopping this. Now these are protected pawns, and now I really questioned about whether I was better. And again, according to the computer, I am. The exchange is strong here, but it really wasn't so easy at the board. Plus, my time is ticking. I'm actually down to only about 20 minutes at this point, which I have not gotten low in any game, so this was a new feeling for me. I also considered pushing h5, because then I sort of have a mating web set up. I mean, you can always run up here, or no, run over here, but then I had this one. I didn't think I'd have enough time. I thought if I somehow moved here and moved my pawn here, this is checkmate. Well, it's actually not, because he can block there. So I don't even know what I'm talking about, but anyway. Whatever. That's what I saw with the h6 idea, but I decided to just keep it simple. I took. Yeah, h takes. He very quickly went h takes. He's kind of killing off the game. And from this position, yeah, I'm barely better. Like, yeah, I've kind of I've shrewded it. I think that he has this. Like, I have to keep this rook on this file for now, because he has this knight fork. So I said, all right, well, let's just get out of the knight fork. I said, if I move here, this is probably pretty good, because then I can move this rook. So I play king 8 f1. And yeah, it's funny. According to the computer, like, I've thrown away the advantage. Like, I had my chances, and I missed a lot of winning moves. Fuck, yeah. He plays king f7. He gets his king closer to the action. I'm still better in this endgame, but not much. The pawns are really scary. What's funny is now my bishop is just not that good. It's kind of hemmed in. It has no squares at all. It has no scope over here either. So I wasn't in love with this bishop anymore. I didn't have an easy way of getting to this... getting to attack. I didn't know how I was going to corral this, given he blocked it. I wasn't sure how he was going to make progress, because if he ever pushes, I just win his knight. But I was like, shit, I don't have that much time, and I'm not sure what to do. Here I was considering this, rook d6. I never thought I mean, I guess I'm now threatening to win this pawn. Yeah. Probably still would have been better. I play rook d3, and it's now completely inaccurate. I was looking at this, rook d6. The idea, of course, I'm attacking, but this is what I saw. I thought that he would just push c5, which is what he wants. Like, I thought I was facilitating the action. What do they recommend here? They recommend moving this one over here now, e1. Damn. Or behind. Damn. I don't know. I don't think this is so simple, I'm going to be honest. And my idea with d3 is I thought, and I was a little bit worried about rook c5, c4, excuse me, but I thought I could go to f3, and then if we trade, it would be much easier for me to, like, round up, this pawn and everything. But unfortunately, it's his move, and he does play c4. And I wondered if e6 was any good. It is. But yeah, he plays rook c. I thought this was good, because this is defending the knighty for now, maybe freeing up his pawn. I was considering e6. Let's see, 34. I play rook d3. He plays rook c4. And then I play rook e1. Yeah, so I play rook e1, which is an even move. And I thought that now maybe I should just try to push, on him like this. And that if he's going to make a queen, like, I can maybe make a queen. I thought maybe I could set up some kind of checkmate. I don't know. But I'm just kind of curious, because I didn't see this at the board. I mean, I should have spent more time. But I thought if I checked, and I saw that if he takes, this is suddenly good for me. Let's find out why. u1, f7. Oh, and then just the simple move. Doi. Oh, man, that's such an obvious move. Because he doesn't in time, because then I can just take and then move back. Blah, 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 blah. Well, actually, I'm not so sure about this. Hold on. I just want to try something. Ooh, and then I can bring it back. Huh. Wow. I didn't see this, obviously. Otherwise, that's just super winning. Yeah, I didn't see all that. That's why he can't take it. So then if he has to play something like this, f6... Now what am I doing with a d8 move? Probably running. Yeah. Boom. Because now he's pinned. And I'm going to win the pawn. Oh, I'm pretty sure if this position is reached, I'm going to win very easily. Takes b3. Same deal, because now still have the pin. Oh my god, chess is really so hard. Man. Oh man, oh man. Such a hard game. Anyway, I play rook e1. The idea here is I'm going to be pushing my pawn, but I'm a little too slow. A little too, yeah, a little too slow. I play rook e1, he plays b3. He's really getting his pawn rolling. I'm still potentially a little bit better, maybe. I now play e6, which is the best move, but I'm like late for this. He plays king f6. He moves his king forward, which is, again, the best move. Nicely done. And now I go rook f3 check, thinking that, you know, maybe, obviously I'm forcing him over, that maybe he makes a mistake, and I didn't see like a checkmate or anything, but I thought I just had to start checking him here and see if he would make him blunder. Always a great strategy. He plays king g5, and I kept looking for like checkmates and stuff, and I didn't see anything. So I thought if I checked him on let's see, g3, we would just repeat, we would just move back. So I went for the only line where I thought that maybe I'd still be winning. It is the best line according to the computer, which is good. 30, I play rook f7. And the idea here is I'm going to end up sacrificing my rook, but I'm going to win back his horsey. And maybe... Oh, my opponent called his knight his horsey, which I did find charming. I will say, because we were talking after the game, he's like, yeah, my horsey here was great. So I did appreciate that. Anyway, so... how long is the recap? Really long. Sorry, a lot of my recaps are like an hour long at this point, but I'm going through them more for me than anyone. Hopefully, you guys enjoy them too. Anyway, yeah, I play rook f7, and my opponent doesn't blink. And apparently, if he plays rook b4, that's the drawing line for him. But he plays b2 is still a drawing line. Okay, he plays b2. Obviously, I have to take on e7. b4 is still what the fuck? 39. Rook takes e7. Then b2 equals queen. Oh, I did something funny. When he queened here, I said, are you sure you want a queen? He's like, yeah, I'll take the queen. He takes the queen. I take. He takes for the knight. And in this position, if you look at it, 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 1. His king is over here. Mine's here. What's funny is if his knight was one square over, he would potentially have a checkmate threat. But it's not the position. And I moved I knew I needed to move my rook so I can get my pawn rolling, and it looks like I moved it to the only square that doesn't have a massive advantage. I needed to move it here to block off his king. And I see it so easily now on the computer. I thought I needed to move it here so that I could then take with my bishop and then defend the queening square with my bishop. Like, I think my logic is good, for the record. It's just totally wrong. It's just totally wrong. This blunders away the game, potentially. Again, see if you guys see what I see, I thought I needed to move my rook so that I can push my pawn. And I wanted this square defended by the bishop. And I thought the only way to do that is if I have my bishop on c6. Zoink! And the only way to get it there, to take it, is if my rook is here. So that's why I moved it where I moved it. But apparently, this is the winning move. Rook f7. The reason why is if he checks here, obviously only move here. c2. I'd move d3. And I've cut his king off, and it's... Oh, wow. Wow. Same deal here. This doesn't work. He has to get his rook behind. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, this bishop is taking away the square, so I actually just need to deflect his king, not his rook. Okay. Well, you know, I have no one to blame but myself, really. I play here, and my opponent plays rook c1 check. Only move I am very quickly. And by the way, I am actually low in time. I'm down to like 16 minutes here, which isn't that low, but it felt like it was the first time where I actually had time pressure. Like the first time. And now he plays rook c5. And again, you have to understand, from this position, I thought I was winning. I am winning according to the computer, by the way. I thought that I was taking away his square for his rook. I would move it away and I would just queen. And obviously he could never stop it because I would be able to move my bishop. Unfortunately, his king can come in with this line. And I didn't see this sequence because once he plays here, he's now threatening to go check and just win my pawn. And it's beautiful. And I didn't know how to stop that. So apparently I can play f4, which is brilliant because it gets his king, it deflects his king. It forces him down here. I was considering this. I'm going to look at that in a moment because I thought that didn't really stop him. So hear me out. Hear me out, bro. All right, 42. I play, he plays rook c5, and I end up going e7, which is just the drawing move. And my thinking is that I'd be able to take, and I'm defending because if he checks here, I can then start moving my king in. But unfortunately, he can then move his king in, which is what ends up happening, by the way, to get to basically a draw. I am going to look at this move real quick, because I did quickly look at this. If I play here, what do I have to play? To play... Now I play e7, which is what I want to do. He plays the check. Then I play f2, so he doesn't have checks. So he doesn't have this check or this check, because I'm protected. My god, chess endgames are really hard. I've not played that many endgames, to be honest. I'm normally pretty good at them, especially online, but... this is another story in person. Yeah, and this is brilliant because next turn I'm going to just do that now. God damn it. Like, whatever he plays, let's just say he plays here. Now I can hit him with the same plan because his king is deflected. And now I'm going to push. So if he goes something like e4, I can just take. He can take. Oh, what a nice tactic, by the way. Because then he takes, and then boom. What a nice tactic. I didn't deflect his king, so instead with this line, because it's sloppy, you know, I'm not a 2000 or a 2400 player. I'm a 1500 player, I guess, because I make moves like this. Yeah, once I play e7 here on move 43. He now plays rook e5. I still think I'm fine. I do play king d3, but now he goes king f6. And yeah, if you look at the computer, it's just a draw. I've snatched victory away from the jaws of victory, and we're gonna draw this game, guys. Is this gonna be my first draw? Well, maybe I fuck it up. You know, I sound unhappy, right? You know, a little bit. All right. Well, he plays here. I realize that there's nothing I can do. He's going to win this pawn. So I think to myself, all right, you know, fuck it. If I take, he takes, I take. And I start thinking, all right, I'm up a pawn. I can never lose that, I think. Is this a winning endgame? And I said to myself, I have like 12 minutes left. I said, I don't think I can fucking win this. Maybe in Blitz Online, where we're blitzing out moves real fast and both players under time control and I can pre-move. But over the board when my opponent has like 30 minutes, like he's not going to just like blunder, randomly. But I thought it was my only chance for anything. So I take. I did think there was a funny line. If he blocks with the rook, then I have... Oops. He doesn't do that. I did see this tactic because this is pinned. Similar to that position that we saw before, because now he has to take here and boom. Anyway, that's not what happened for the record. So I did see that he could potentially blunder. I was hoping he would. He doesn't. He plays here. That's if he wanted to basically protect the pawn. I take the pawn. And again, at this position, I thought to myself, I can't lose, but I honestly have no idea how to win this, if it's even a winning game. The computer doesn't say it's a winning game, so I'm happy with myself because I try a little bit to win, but I also didn't want to, get forked and like suddenly like lose or something. But yeah, so I took on c6, he took on e7, and then rook takes on g6. He plays knight a3. He's trying to reroute. I was thinking when he played this that I needed to try to like trap his knight in the corner. That's at least what I was going for. I had enough time where I was still making not instantaneous moves, so I played bishop c6 with the idea that I'm taking away this jump, taking away that jump with my king because I can like walk in, taking away this jump, and this one just kind of puts it back in. So my plan was to like walk in. And I was going to put my pawn on f3 so it was protected. That's how I thought I was supposed to win this. So that was what was going through my mind. He plays rook f5. He's attacking the pawn. The only move I see, I mean, apparently like a lot of stuff is winning, or drawing, excuse me. Nothing is winning. I play here, so I'm defending everything. He then aggressively moves towards my rook. He plays king f7. I have no idea where I'm supposed to put my pieces, if it's even possible to win this one. Again, thankfully it's not. I play on move 49, rook g4. My thinking is no matter what, I just do not want to blunder. Like no matter what, just do not blunder some kind of fork, and like I'll never lose, and maybe he fucks up and wins. So like that's honestly what was going through my mind. He plays rook c5, attacking the bishop. I wanted to keep taking away these squares, but if I go here, I'm now maybe even losing. So I can't obviously go here, because then, boops, I can't take that. So now I have to move back. I move to e4, because now they're kind of, they're buddy-buddy with each other. Again, it's nice to see on the computer that it is, in fact, zeros, because over the board, I was like, am I supposed to win this one? Because I was like, for my life, I don't think I can win this. And I knew I'm supposed to try, because I'm the one who has a pawn, but I just didn't really, I just didn't even know how to go about trying to win, you know what I mean? He plays knight b5, I play rook h4. We play like another 10 moves. I do push him for 10 moves or so you'll see what happens. I am down below 10 minutes for the record. Or maybe I had 11 minutes. I know I finished the game right around 10-minute mark, and I'm making these fast-ish because none of the moves seem to matter that much to me. I wanted to maybe corral his knight in the corner. That's basically what I was going for. Is I wanted to have him put something on light squares that he shouldn't, and corral his knight in the corner. Because in my mind, I knew that I couldn't trade rooks, because if I ever get the bishop and the pawn against the knight, he can always sacrifice the knight for the pawn, and I know that's not winning. I know that. So I know rooks have to stay on. He should have been trying to aggressively trade, for the record, because then it's 100%. I mean, this apparently is a draw too, but I just know that like I can simply make a draw against anyone with the other position. In any event, rook h4 is played. He then plays knight d6. Attacking that. I didn't think that mattered. I now play rook h7. Just making a check. He goes king f6, just kind of moving his piece in. I play rook a7. The other thing I know is I never want to give up a fork. What's funny is he has this fork here. If he, yeah, that's what the computer says. He should have done that, actually, now that I see that. That's funny. Because, again, I can never win that if it's a knight against a bishop and a pawn, because he can always trade the knight for the bishop. Oh, excuse me, the knight for the pawn. And I can't mate him with just a bishop. So, yeah, rook a7, rook c1, though, is played. I play rook a6. I'm trying to pin the tail on the donkey. He goes king e7. He breaks the pin. I play king e3. I'm thinking maybe I'm supposed to get closer to the pawn so I can free up my bishop so I can push my pawn, because the only way I could potentially win is to push the pawn. And I do know conceptually that if he has to trade the knight for the pawn, that rook bishop against rook can be a win. I know, like, every so often, like Title Tuesday when I watch, they do get in those positions, and oftentimes they just, they don't do it in enough moves. I certainly don't know how to do it, but I knew that at least it potentially could be a win. So I thought if I could reach that position, that it's winnable, and obviously I can never lose. So, you know what I mean? So I was going to try that. I was going to try my best. All right. He plays rook e1 check. I go king f4. He plays h1. Rook h1. I play... That doesn't make any sense. Must have been rook a7. For some reason I wrote rook a1 check, but it must have been rook a7. He plays king e6. I play rook a8. I don't really know what the point of my moves are. He plays rook h4 check. I play king e3. He plays king e5. And in this position, I play f4, and I offer him a draw, because I now is at exactly 10 minutes. He had like 30 still. What's funny is I said, oh, you could just take. But then I saw that if he takes, I actually have this this idea, which is funny. And the game ends here, by the way. I say, do you want to draw? And he said, are you sure? I think maybe you can still win. I said, I don't think I can win this. And he's like, all right, then I'll happily draw. But it was just really funny. He literally said, I think you can still maybe win. And I'm like, dude, you should just take the draw. But I was we had made 15 moves in this position where, again, I'm not supposed to ever lose that, but I just never wanted to bungle a fork. And I'm not even sure it was winnable. And according to the computer, it's not winnable. So I just was like, you know what, fuck it. This is going to be my first official draw. Let's just draw. But what's funny is I actually did see this trap. By pushing the pawn, if he does take, I am winning. And I did see that after I'd offered the draw. So I was kind of biting my lip. And what's funny is I thought that if he doesn't take the draw, for whatever reason, there's zero chance he should ever not take the draw. He actually thought about it for like a moment. He was like, well, almost because he thought that like I could win it, which would have been very nice of Alex. But, definitely would have been wrong. Yeah. God damn it, didn't enter. We got like the reverse orders. Yeah, so it's my first draw officially, which is great. Let's save this, add to game collection. This is going to go into the Boylston Chess Club September Swiss, my third game. Yeah, and I guess let's see how we did. Review. Table base says this is a draw, by the way, not surprisingly. But for the record, here, let's do the review first. And then I'm going to show that line real quick. All right, so I played an 82.6. He played an 84. I mean, I had my chances to win, a few chances. White had some nice moves. They don't even know that I'm white, and they're complimenting me. That's very nice of them. I feel like black had some nice moves, too. All right, 2,000 and 2050. Looking at this, not too bad. I'll enter this into my spreadsheet. I don't know what to say. Not my best game ever. I've had, I think my average accuracy in all my classical games has been about 82.6%. I think it's actually 83%. So in fairness, I was kind of hungry. I missed some moves. I was not sharp today. But I think that this was kind of like an average game for me. My opponent played faster than me. And there were a few situations that I maybe should have won this game. The only nice thing is there was no point in the game where I played badly. I did have a couple blunders, like misses. And when he sacked, I knew the sack wasn't good, but it was definitely, I was a little bit scared of that pawn on the outside. Like I thought that while playing, there were a few moments where I thought that maybe I was worse. But looking at this, I actually did play a pretty solid game, but not a special game. I had my opportunities. At the end of the day, I got the draw. That's not the end of the world. It was a nice game of chess. I'll take it. Damn, this is going to be a long recap. Real quick, just so you guys can see, just because I'm kind of curious. Yeah, just real quick, though, if he takes this, yeah, it's here. And I did see this, and the reason why is I'm dislodging him from his king, and from his rook. And this, for the record, this position, a rook and a bishop against a knight, online, in person, I don't care what the situation, I know I can win this one pretty easily. This is not a position that I need any practice in. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, that's going to be me signing off. Sorry about the long recap, but it was a 60-move game. I had my chances. It ended in a draw, my first draw after 20 games. I have like 6 more provisional games on the slate. My next week's opponent is on 1.5 points. I'm going to be playing as black. And yeah, I'm going to stop recording now. Have a good night, everybody.